The dead lover. Some promises reach beyond time, and some hearts beat even after the world says goodbye. Once upon a time, not so long ago and not so far, there lived a fine young fellow and a bright, beautiful girl. They loved each other deeply, and soon their hearts belonged to one another. Just as they were ready to wed, war swept through their land. The young man, Johnny, buckled on his saber and was forced to march away with the others. When he said farewell to his beloved Hannah, he knelt before her and pleaded,
"Promise me, Hannah. Wait for me. 7 years, 7 weeks. If I do not return by then, you may marry another."
Hannah nodded, her eyes shining with tears. She watched as Johnny vanished down the road, clutching his promise to her heart. The war finally ended, and joyful girls rushed to meet their sweethearts. Hannah waited at the door, searching for her Johnny. But Johnny did not come. She asked all those coming home, but no one could tell her what became of him. Lonely and sorrowful, Hannah's eyes shone with tears day after day. As seasons changed, girl after girl married, but not Hannah. No matter how many suitors came calling, she would not even listen. Her heart belonged to her lost love. The years trickled by. 7 long years passed, but there was no sign of Johnny. When another suitor came for her hand, Hannah grew uncertain. Alone with her thoughts, Hannah wrestled with her heart's questions.
If I say yes to him and Johnny returns, what pain. But if I refuse and Johnny never comes back, what then?
Troubled, she went to see the local wise woman.
Good evening, grandmother.
God bless you, child. What brings you here?
Oh, grandmother, tell me truly, will I ever see my sweetheart again? Before he went to war, he made me promise. Wait for him 7 years and 7 weeks. That's almost past. What should I do?
The old woman listened in silence, then leaned in and asked gently,
You love your sweetheart deeply, don't you?
Oh, more than anything.
And would you truly wish to see him again?
Yes, oh yes.
Then listen, child. By the old graveyard under the low stone wall, you'll find a human rib. Bring it home with you. At 11 o'clock, go and fetch water. Add 3 handfuls of sand. Light the fire and cook thick porridge in a pot. Stir it from 11 to midnight with the rib. Whatever world he's in, your love will come to you.
Heart pounding, Hannah crept to the old graveyard. Beneath the wall lay a pale rib. Her hands trembled, but she snatched it up, wrapped it in a white cloth, and hurried home through the darkness. She fetched water, scooped sand, kindled the fire, and as the clock struck 11, she stirred thick porridge with the rib, just as instructed. Flames roared. The porridge bubbled. Suddenly from the pot, a ghostly voice echoed,
Come, 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 come.
Far, far away, Johnny heard the call. He jolted from his foreign grave, leaped onto a phantom white horse, and sped across the night at his beloved's summons. Inside, Hannah stirred, and the porridge called again.
Come, come.
For a moment, Hannah wondered if the bubbling voice was only in her mind, or if her wish was really being heard in the dark. Suddenly, hoofbeats thundered outside. Johnny's white horse reared at the door, and Johnny rapped on the window.
Open up, dearest. Your beloved is here.
Hannah rushed outside, her heart pounding.
Welcome! How I've waited, how I've dreamed. Come inside, come in.
A wild wind howled. Shutters banged and the storm rattled above. But Johnny only urged her.
Take what you need, love. We still have a long journey tonight.
Stay. Wait just a moment. Rest until dawn.
There's no time. I must return to the army before midnight. Come with me.
Afraid, Hannah snatched her bundle and climbed up behind him. The white horse bounded onward, over hills and rivers, through howling wind, never slowing. Johnny glanced back at her with haunted eyes and chanted into the moonlight.
The moon shines, so cold, so bright. A lonely soul takes flight tonight. The stars are singing, far and low. Hannah, are you afraid to go?
No, Johnny, how could I be when I'm with you?
But a shiver ran straight down her spine. On they flew, through ghost woods, stony valleys, wild whistling wind swirling around them. Johnny's voice rose again.
The moon shines, so cold, so bright. A lonely soul takes flight tonight. The stars are singing, far and low. Hannah, are you afraid to go?
No, Johnny, I'm with you.
Still, she trembled like a leaf. The wind moaned, branches split, shadows flickered, until Johnny chanted a third time.
The moon shines, so cold, so bright. A lonely soul takes flight tonight. The stars are singing far and low. Hannah, are you afraid to go?
No, I'm not afraid.
She said, clutching him tighter as their ghost steed soared higher and higher, wind whistling wild at their heels. At last, they leapt the cemetery fence. The white horse vanished as mist, and Johnny took Hannah's shaking hand, leading her to a gaping grave.
We're home, my sweet one. Now lie down in the bed from which you woke me.
For a moment, Hannah's knees trembled. Everything inside her screamed to turn and run, but she forced herself to stay calm.
Of course I'll lie down, only show me where you'll rest first, so I know exactly where to join you, my dear.
He jumped into the grave. She tossed in her bundle, and, in a flash, turned and ran as fast as her battered legs could carry her. Panting, dress torn, knees bloodied, she finally slowed to catch her breath, until the pounding of hooves thundered behind her once more. She darted toward a cottage, shining with a candle in the window, slammed the door behind her, and locked it tight. Inside lay only a dead warlock, not a living soul. Her skin prickled, and her bones rattled with fear. She climbed onto the stove and crouched in the corner. Johnny's ghostly stallion thundered up, his ghost voice booming as he pounded on the door.
Open up, dead to dead. I've come for the living.
Inside, something groaned. At first, there was only silence, a silence so cold it prickled Hannah's skin. Then came a heavy, dreadful creak.
Wait. Let me lift my leg first.
Moaned the corpse inside, lowering a leg stiff as an old log. Johnny's fist beat even louder, making the whole house shiver.
Open up, dead to dead. I've come for the living.
The corpse inside made a ghastly attempt at courtesy.
Wait. Let me lift my arm.
Whispered the corpse, a sound so dry it could crack stone. Wind rattled the shutters. Hannah shrank deeper into the darkness.
Open up, dead to dead! I've come for the living! Wait. Let me lift my head.
Croaked the corpse, and ever so slowly, bone by bone, it sat up, shaking off a century of dust, rose to its feet, bones creaking like old floorboards, and crept toward the door. Hannah broke out in a cold sweat as the door creaked open. Johnny and the dead warlock clambered over the stove's edge, groping for Hannah's hands.
No, please don't!
Just then, a rooster on the windowsill flapped its wings and crowed. In a blink, Johnny crashed to the floor, and the warlock melted into a pool of black tar. But poor Hannah, worn out by terror, could take no more. At dawn, they found her still and silent. They buried her and her brave, ghostly sweetheart in a single grave, together at last, bound by longing, loss, and love that even death could not destroy.